Hello and welcome to another episode of Not Too Deep. I'm your host, Grace Helbig. A very exciting, very festive, holiday-fueled episode awaits you with Mary Holland. Oh, she is just so lovely. If you don't know her, get ready to meet someone that is hilarious, sweet, charming, all of it. She's Jane in the Happiest season, now on Hulu, the Kristen Stewart holiday film. It's absolutely wonderful. She also co-wrote the movie. So fantastic. We talk about Wild Horses, her improv troupe that she still performs with that is doing virtual shows. We talk about her love of Lord of the Rings, Survivor, how she and her husband got married in their carport on Halloween this year. She's had quite a year, and this was such a lovely conversation. So please enjoy this episode of Not Too Deep with Mary Holland. Mary, hi. I'm so excited to talk to you. I have a million questions. Happiest season, obviously, the coolest thing right now. I want to get to that in a second.
Yes.
But let's start at the beginning. I want to hear how you got into comedy. I know you're a huge UCB person. And so I'm curious how you found yourself in New York, right?
LA.
Oh, in LA. Okay.
Yes. So I moved to Los Angeles right after college, drove across the country and...
you did the full drive.
I did.
Nice.
I did. I went to college outside of Chicago. So I drove from there and I actually, one of the first apartment buildings I lived in was right down the street from the Upright Citizens Brigade Theater in Los Angeles.
Oh, cool.
So it was actually a geographic, coincidence there. But I had done some improv in Chicago while I was in college. And so I was a little familiar with long form improv, but the UCB in LA was like 2 years old at that point. Okay. It had been in New York for a long time, but they had just opened their LA branch. And I went to see some shows there and was like, hey, I know this stuff. This is improv. And so I signed up, started taking classes and just got very into the improv sketch scene.
Very cool. So when you did improv in Chicago, was that something, were you interested in theater and this was kind of another offshoot to make yourself well-rounded, or were you interested in comedy specifically?
Yeah, I was going to school for theater. I got my BFA in acting from Northern Illinois University, and we really rarely did comedies. It was a lot of very emotionally fraught theater pieces, a lot of drama, which I love doing and am so grateful that I got that experience. But yes, I feel like when I started getting into improv, I really I loved the sense of play and it was such an important creative outlet. And I was meeting all these people that I just connected with and fell in love with. And it became my community in such a big way. And then additionally, all the skills that improv has taught me that I've been able to use in my professional life, but also my personal life. So many of the philosophies of improv are really great,
they really
life
are
guidelines. Yeah.
They're truly just foundational tools for building relationships, romantic and platonic, that I forget that I went to the People's Improv Theater in New York. And so I forget that a lot of the things that I've learned there truly are the way I give other people any advice about just operating in life, that I'm like, wow, these do really map into the real world so effortlessly.
They really do. And it's also just how to, I totally agree with you about relationships. And then it's also just from a mindfulness perspective, how to stay in the moment and not pre-plan or be attached to results, just kind of trust that you're going to be supported and you'll be taken care of. And it fosters this courage. I think that's so important.
Totally. And I think I saw, because you have an improv group, Wild Horses,
Yes,
and you guys have been doing live streamed shows. Is that true?
we have. Yes, we did a few at the very beginning of the pandemic.
Yeah.
So like in early March, and then there was a few months where we were all coping, and then we did just start doing shows again, and I think we're going to try to do them monthly now. But we do
That's
it
so
through
cool.
this. Yeah, we do it through this theater called Dynasty Typewriter, that has pivoted really beautifully to like doing online shows. Like
Oh,
they
cool.
really have made it so seamless and easy. So I hope we do more.
Yeah, I mean, kudos for pivoting, because I am
Yeah.
so curious. That's something that strikes me every now and then. Is like, how are improv groups handling the last 8 months? Because it's like truly
Yeah.
impossible to do that kind of stuff. But to know that you guys are doing it on a live stream, what's that experience like? I'm sure it's very different, but some of it must feel familiar.
Yes, it is very different, but in a way, there's like some cool things that we can play with within this structure that we couldn't do in person. For example, I remember we did this one show, and in the improv portion of the show, there was my character was like taking over the room, or there was some sort of situation where my character was like an evil like overlord, and so I like from Zoom could mute all the other
That's fantastic.
women in my group, and they like took that and ran with it. They like pretended like they were trapped, and like
that's so great.
So it's cool. It kind of it really it makes you be creative with how you're what you normally would show physically, how you can translate that to a two-dimensional like screen is been really fun.
It's great to know that you're still able to do it too, because it must feel a little bit like, I mean, it is a drug in some sense, like the endorphin rush of being able to create something from nothing. So to have a little bit of that, a little bit of the fix must feel really nice.
Oh my gosh. I mean, it's such a huge part of my life. Like improv is, when you're in that community and in that world, you're doing shows constantly, or practice groups. You're just like constantly working that muscle. And it's tough to not have that outlet, but I'm glad that we found a way to make it work somehow.
Totally. And things that are currently working. Let's talk about Happiest Season, because this is such a delightful movie. It's like,
thank you.
So funny and grounded at the same time. Like it's a really wonderful balance. And you co-wrote the film.
Yes. So what was Clea Duvall? Yeah.
Tell me about that process.
Yeah. So Clea had the idea for Happiest Season for a long time. And when we met working on Veep, we just really hit it off with each other. We didn't know each other very well at all, but I feel very lucky that she took me out to coffee and told me about the idea she had and the story she wanted to tell, and asked me if I would write it with her. And I was like, well, yes. Well, yes, absolutely. I would love to.
Very much so.
Very much so. And very much so.
So how long ago was this that you guys started writing it?
It was almost, oh my gosh, it just hit me that it's December. It was almost 4 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, I feel like we started in December or January of 2017.
Wow.
So yeah, it's kind of wild.
It's really wild, and it's a beautiful story to tell, and it's a real, like I said, it's a great balance of making it funny and lighthearted, but still keeping like the core, I guess, conflict very grounded and real for people. were you pulling characters or anything from real life situations? I know that you're close with your sister, so I didn't know
Yes.
if any of the characters have been informed by actual family members.
No, not really. I do not have the same relationship with my sister as the sisters in the movie. But I do think that sisterly dynamic is so specific and really intense. It's like I know with my sister, we were each other's best friends growing up, and that you're also around each other all the time and you're growing up together. And so there's just so many layers to that relationship. And we wanted, to get to know Harper through that relationship. So giving her sisters was a really cool way to get to know her better. And yeah, I mean, the story itself was inspired by Clea's experiences, and holiday movies are important to both of us. And I think it was really important to Clea to see her experience represented in this genre. And of course, LGBTQ plus stories there should be so many in all genres. So it is very exciting that we get to tell this one on such a large scale.
Now, what are your normal Christmas movie go-tos or holiday movie go-tos?
Home Alone is at the top of the list.
Okay.
Top of the list. Die Hard, I would say we watch. My husband, Matt, is adamant that Die Hard is a Christmas movie.
Okay.
And I agree. It feels like a Christmas movie. Let's see. Scrooged, watch every year. Family Stone. I mean, they really become a part of one's tradition and something that like brings a lot of comfort every year. So it was great making one.
Yeah. And the cast is like, every person involved is so wonderful and clearly brings their own essence to these already very funny characters and interesting and complex characters. And it feels like, I'm curious about the casting process. Like, did Kristen Stewart come on and then it sort of like happened, or were you able to bring in friends and that sort of thing?
Right. It really, Clea as the director, really captained that process. And she was so mindful about bringing in people that are brilliant actors. I mean, this cast is just full of such...
Oh, it's fantastic.
Fantastic. Like such stellar performers. And, but she was also really mindful of bringing in people too, who were, warm people and generous and positive. And, so she really just curated this incredible group of people. And when we were writing it, with these characters really, stood on their own, and it was a world that we created that would exist on its own, and then all these actors stepped into these roles and did the most wonderful things with them. We're so lucky.
That's so cool, especially like just the trust in knowing that they're going to take the things that you've written and just elevate them must have been so cool.
It was a marvel to watch. It was so great.
Now, how has the feedback been? Because now it's out, it's available for everyone to see. People are watching it, and it's kind of like truly ideal timing for everyone to have a very sweet and beautiful story around the holiday season.
Right. The response has been so overwhelmingly positive, and I've heard from lots of friends and family who have been so enthusiastic and supportive. And then I've heard from a lot of people who I don't know, who have reached out and told me like how much this movie means to them, or how it's impacted them, or, and it's been really wonderful also to hear that it's starting a lot of conversations between families and friends and loved ones. And that is really beautiful to hear.
Yeah. Was there any hesitation on having it come out this year, or wanting it to be pushed another year because of the state of the world?
Right. I I don't know what those conversations were like. I mean, I feel like we all really felt like this was a movie that we need
Yeah. Yeah.
this
Hugely.
year. And so I feel like the move that was made, Hulu taking it on and sharing it, and having the support of Sony and TriStar in that effort to like get it out into the world and have it be so accessible. I think that was just the best possible way we could enjoy it. And there's something too about it. I mean, of course, we would love to see it in the movie theater. That's
right.
What a dream. But it's sort of the image of people safe at home, being able to like enjoy this from the comfort of their homes and with their families is what an ideal way to watch it.
That's a very sweet, optimistic way to handle this whole thing. I mean, I saw on your Instagram that the dress you wore for the premiere, stunning, mask and all,
thank
stunning.
You. Yes, yes. My stylist was so wonderful. She was able to get a mask made with like part of the dress, so it all matched, and we love that.
Very cool. What was the experience having a premiere? Was it a drive-in situation?
Yeah, it was a drive-in. Yeah, it was so magical. It was really like, I love a drive-in movie, and to get to watch this movie in that context was really exciting. And we had like little snacks and hot apple cider, and it just felt very special. And so many friends turned out, and I'm just thrilled we had a way to like celebrate it, but still be very safe. And
there's something, even though you could only do a drive-in situation, it does kind of feel like the ideal, like sweet holiday viewing experience, like a little retro, but a little comfortable and quaint and cute.
Totally agree. Yeah.
Very cool.
That's what it felt like.
Okay. We're going to take a quick break. When we get back, I have so many questions about the carport wedding that happened this year for you. So we'll be right back with more Not Too Deep.
Not Too Deep with Grace Helbig.
Hi, friends. Grace Helbig here from the podcast Not Too Deep, which you are currently listening to, hosted by me, Grace Helbig. Just wanted to say a couple of things. One, thank you so much for listening. And two, if you are enjoying yourself to such a degree that you'd love to leave us a review on the Apple Store, that would be so appreciated, because again, you are very appreciated for giving us your time, your ears, your attention, whatever it may be. And that was my couple of things. Now back to me. Okay, let's talk about, not only have you made this beautiful film, you've also made a beautiful marriage happen this year.
Yes,
what a wild situation.
Did.
Now tell me about this.
Truly.
Because you got married in your carport this year?
We got married in our carport, a dream venue.
Yes.
We had other plans for our wedding. And then when it was clear that shouldn't happen, we decided we still wanted to get married on that date. And it felt really important to both of us to like have this really positive experience happen this year. And so we just decided to do it at home, and we got we have this little carport area that we just hung a bunch of lights in, and then we set up some tripods with phones, and we went, this company called Wedfully coordinates virtual weddings. So they've really had a very busy year.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But they helped us figure out how to make this work, and like they facilitated greeting the guests when they arrive on the Zoom, and like they played a slideshow, and they our coordinator would toggle between the two different camera angles that we had set up in our car.
It
was
so
really
cute.
cool. It was very creative. Yeah. And it was very special and intimate and creative. And, we getting married on Halloween we
Yeah, this is
encouraged
a layered
yeah.
experience that you guys have. Not only is it in your carport and it's this production value over Zoom for your family and friends, but it's on Halloween as well.
On Halloween, and this Halloween was a blue moon. So
Yeah.
listen, we had it all going. Yes, and we encouraged our guests. We told them, please arrive on the Zoom however you want. Like, you can dress up or you can like wear a costume. We wouldn't say no to that.
Wonderful.
And the majority of people wore costumes.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's fantastic.
Yeah, my sister was Morticia Adams, and her boyfriend was Gomez Adams. And then my dad, hilariously, decided to the entire wedding be in character as Kevin Costner's character from Yellowstone. So he gave a toast to me as Kevin Costner. Like, he even said, he was like, it's so sad that Dwayne can't be here. I know he was bummed to miss his daughter's wedding, but so I told him I would be here instead. And like,
That's
it was
so
hilarious.
sweet.
Yeah.
Okay. So I was going to ask, like, how do your parents feel about you being in the entertainment industry? But it seems like perhaps dad is maybe more supportive than ever.
He is enjoying it. But yeah, both my parents are doctors. So
wow.
Yeah, very much an industry and a world that is new to them.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But they seem like, they seem on board for it.
Yeah, they're down. They're down to have a good time.
Now, in the film, you have Jinx Monsoon and Ben de la Creme there.
Yeah.
Are you a Drag Race fan?
I have just gotten introduced to Drag Race, and Jinx and Ben de la Creme. I mean, oh my gosh, their performances in this movie were, I just could not take my eyes off of them. They're so funny and so magnetic. So yeah, I can't wait to watch more Drag Race. To get to know
there's so much. I read somewhere that you had a ton of like quirky characters that had to get cut from the original script. Is that true?
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, a script goes through so many evolutions.
Yeah.
And you start to like hone in on the story you want to tell. And yeah, I wouldn't say there was like a ton, but there were certainly like a character here or there that ended up, not propelling the story forward in the way we want to. But that's always tough. It's tough in the writing process to like, be discerning like that about what is working and what isn't. Yeah.
But it's great because all the characters that are in it are still incredibly funny, but very real people at the same time.
Yeah. That was so important that all these characters had like were three-dimensional and had a full emotional journey that they also were on, in addition to this main story that we're following.
So cool. I also want to talk about Golden Arm.
Oh, yeah.
Which is crazy because ironically we had Kate Flannery on this morning in an episode.
You did?
Yeah. And she brought it up and it was so wild. So tell us about this. This is what I know about it is arm wrestling.
That's, you know what? That's all you need to know.
Okay.
It's like a buddy comedy set in the world of women's arm wrestling, and is directed by Maureen Barucha, and Betsy Sodaro and I play the two best friends. Betsy is a trucker who competes in women's arm wrestling tournaments, and I play her best friend who's a baker and is not in touch with her inner strength. But she has this perfect, but she has this golden arm. She has a gift, like incredible arm, so that it's all about her journey and embracing that part of herself.
It's amazing because the arm wrestling world really exists, right? This is an actual community. Yes. This is an actual competition. Yeah. Did you have to do a research for this or get into this world?
Absolutely. It was written by Anne Marie Allison and Jenna Milley. And Anne Marie is a part of an arm wrestling community in DC that they do like fundraising events. And it's so to hear her tell these stories, like people show up as their alter egos and like dress up in full costume. And it's just really fun and celebratory. And we were lucky enough to have Dot Marie Jones. She played in the movie. She played someone who trains me.
Okay.
And luckily we that was like the first thing that we shot was that series of scenes. And it was so fortunate because Dot actually is a world champion arm wrestler.
Wild.
She brought all her like belts and it is amazing. But
I haven't had a many like things on a short list that I really want to go to once, the world opens back up, but this is skyrocketed to the top. I'm fascinated by this.
And there's tons of events like in LA and just all over. So I definitely check it out. But yeah, Dot was like in the movie, she's training me, but then she was actually like giving me tips of like, this is how you do this. And like, how to prevent like breaking your arm and what you have to do. You have to get off the jump and all this cool, like it was great.
That's amazing. Are there any tips that help, with the carpal tunnel that comes from so much interneting as well?
She didn't go into any of that. But I mean, I feel like arm wrestling's got to be good for it. You're working with muscles. So maybe just get into competitive arm wrestling.
Oh, it's amazing. So this is a film that's coming out next year.
Yes.
Okay. Cool. For everyone. And when did you guys shoot this?
We shot it not this past July, but the one before. So 2019.
Okay.
July 2019. Yeah.
Oh, that's so exciting. I'm already looking forward to it. Now, in general, let's talk about how has quarantine been going for you? Are you guys watching anything? Are you binging anything? What's been what's the latest that you're watching? I'm also just fishing for new recommendations on things.
Oh, great. Love it. Yes, it has been definitely a time of a lot of consuming of movies and TV and podcasts. The show that we've been watching most recently is The Flight Attendant on HBO Max.
I haven't watched that yet. No, but I heard it's good.
It is so good. It's great. Okay. Love it. Good. And then I always have my go-to show that I seen all of it? Yes. But every time I rewatch it, I'm finding new things. I'm learning new lessons. And that is Survivor on CBS.
Yes. Okay. So my boyfriend and I, at the beginning of the pandemic, 12 years ago, just got like super into Survivor, like so late to the game. And now we are obsessed. And we've gone back and watched, I think, we haven't watched it in a while because we went too hard and it got like very obsessive. But we've watched like the last 10 seasons or the 10 most recent seasons of it. I'm obsessed with it.
Obsessed. It is such a genius show. Best show on television, as far as I'm concerned, has been for 20 years.
Yes.
Yeah. And I actually, this is interesting. At the beginning of quarantine, a friend of mine, Kelsey Krasnogor, she started an online game that was inspired by Survivor. And it is like all the challenges are over Zoom and like it's social. It's like social strategy. It's that same sort of like idea. It's a brilliant game. It's called The Quarantine Island. I played it for a whole month and it utterly consumed me. I can't even tell you how intense it was, but I really learned a lot about myself from doing it. So I highly recommend everybody check that out. Quarantine Island.
How fun. I'm obsessed with the game or the show and the game. My friends have been telling me about it forever, and it's something I hadn't watched from like the first season once it came out when I was in like high school or college or something wild. Jeff Probst is like the greatest host I've ever seen. His ability to facilitate conversations blows my mind.
He is an angel from heaven above.
Yes.
There is no one I love more. And you know what? And I told my husband that, and he's okay with it.
That's great.
Yeah, I love him so, so much.
Now, would you actually go on the show if asked?
Listen, if you had asked me that, I think at the beginning of this year before I played Quarantine Island, I would have said, you know what? If they asked me, I probably would. I love the show so much, and I love the game.
Yeah.
And but after doing Quarantine Island, it has become very clear to me that I am not cut out for it.
I know. I could never do it. I could never do it. I am too emotionally unstable, and I think I would just be so devastated to find out someone lied to me, because I think I try to unfortunately see like the best in people and think that they're good. And so so I think in that game that would be my Achilles heel, is just being like, I trust you. I trust you. I trust you. Oh.
Yeah, totally. Yes. And it's also like I am definitely of the same mind as you. And then it's also when I did try to lie in the game, I wasn't fooling anybody.
No.
I was so convinced. I was like, ooh, I'm playing the game. And everybody was like, well, I know Mary's lying.
Yeah, I know. I feel like when I lie, I just get full hives, which would be the biggest tell to everyone constantly.
I don't make eye contact. I just look around like that.
Exactly. Oh, I'm so glad to hear that you're also equally obsessed with that show.
I'm so glad you are.
I mean, it's the perfect balance of social commentary. I love it. Also, just to know that everyone that goes on it now is just clearly obsessed with the show. And so the way they play is so fast and furious that it's hard to keep up with.
Really fun. Yeah.
Now, is there a reality show you would go on?
Oh, man. What a question.
Would you and your husband do an Amazing Race? Or
we love Amazing Race. I have brought it up to him a few times. He says, I'm not sure that would be good for us. I mean, you really have to have a real a partnership that is so the communication has to be like out of this world.
100%. Yes. It's
but
good
I
to
would
know
love to do it. I would love to go on Survivor. I just don't think I would do well.
Yeah, I don't think I would flatter myself in any capacity. I think people would be upset with my inability to survive on that show. Okay, we're going to take one last break. When we get back, I have a bunch of questions for you from Instagram. So we'll be right back with more Not Too Deep.
Not too deep with Grace Helbig.
Okay, Mary, before we get into these Instagram questions, I'm going to ask you the two questions I ask every single guest that's on the podcast. And the first is, who, alive or dead, would you most like to throw cold spaghetti at?
Cold cooked spaghetti. Is that right?
Cold cooked spaghetti, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, gosh, there's so many people I'd like to throw it at.
I know. This is the year.
Yeah, this is the year. I mean, I think I would probably like to throw it. And is it guaranteed to hit their face?
It is guaranteed to hit them in this-ish area. And also, the intention of how you throw it is up to you. It can be a celebratory thing. It can be a mean-spirited thing. It's whoever, depending on how you're feeling.
Okay. Great. Well, I mean, I think I'd like to throw cold spaghetti in like a fun way. Maybe with someone like Ina Garten.
That's a fantastic answer.
Because she would just catch it and then make something delicious with it.
Yeah, in her blue button down.
Exactly.
Jeffrey's in the other room doing something. Who knows?
Who knows? He only comes out for mealtime.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, I love that. Okay, the other question I ask every single guest is to tell us your worst pants shitting experience or like a bathroom emergency, but you can only use 3 words or 3 small phrases to describe the experience. So,
Grace.
mine,
Boy.
yeah, I'll give you an example. Mine is college jogging front lawn. Yeah, it's a tough time. Very tough.
Oh man. Okay. Well, listen, okay. There's a lot.
I'm so happy to hear that you have a bunch to pick from.
I have a bunch of answers to that question.
Right.
But okay, so here we go. I'm going to try to sum it up in 3 words.
Okay.
Dog walking, jeggings.
Uh-oh. Jeggings are... Yep.
What's the last word I would choose? There's so many good ones. I would say, okay, dog walking, jeggings, fired.
Oh no, that is a full movie that you've given us.
Yeah.
Oh, amazing. No follow-up questions there.
Great.
Okay, let's get into these Instagram questions. We have a bunch of them. An overwhelming amount of them first are asking, will there be a Happiest season 2?
I sure hope so.
Okay.
I sure hope so. Yeah. Would love to do it.
It lends itself to that. So many people want your character's spin-off movie. They want Strictly Jane, everything, which is I would also love to see that. I got to see how the book sales do and where she goes from there.
We have to know how the book is doing. Yeah. Gotta know.
Someone's asking, what's your favorite memory from filming Happiest season?
It was such a special experience. It really was. That this group of people was so amazing, and I feel like at the time we all knew we were making something really special and important, and we were all just so excited to be there. So I have so many great memories from it, but I would say some of my favorites are playing games with everybody in the cast and going and doing escape rooms together. Those were a lot of fun.
That's so fun. Who, if anyone, stood out as the worst escape room participant?
Listen, look, if you were to ask all of us, Mary Steenburgen would say she would claim that she's the worst, but I totally disagree with that. I think Mary was so wonderful in the escape rooms. Everybody brings their own strength. You know, that's what's so great about escape rooms is that it really is a team effort. So everybody, you know, brings their strengths to it. Everyone
has a unique talent for an escape room.
Yes.
Someone's asking, does she try to sneak her fellow Wild Horses crew into projects, or do they all audition for similar stuff?
I mean, I think both are true. You know, we're all brunette comedian ladies. So we do end up going out for a lot of the same stuff audition wise, but also, you know, the comedy community is really supportive of each other. And so it really feels like, we have a lot of mutual friends who bring us in for things, and definitely anytime I'm in a position to cast any of the Wild Horses, I'm over the moon to do it.
That's how long have the Wild Horses been together as a group?
We formed in 2013, so almost 8 years.
And how did the name come to be?
I remember we were on an email chain. Look, picking an improv group name.
It's always a wild task.
It's a wild task, and I mean, you go from it can be anything. And we were all throwing out names, and I remember Lauren Lapkus throwing out Wild Horses, and we all were like, "That's it.
It fits.
That's us."
You have to wait, for the emotional connection to it.
Yeah.
Now, someone is asking, what's your favorite way to wake up in the morning?
Oh, my favorite way to wake up in the morning. Oh, I love that question.
I know.
Well rested.
Great answer.
Yeah, we have 2 cats and a dog, and our cats sleep in the bed with us. And so that I love waking up, and at some point during the night when I've been asleep, my cat has like crawled in and like had me spoon her, and then waking up and discovering that is the best.
Such a pure joy.
Yes. So nice.
Someone wants to know, what's your favorite type of holiday attire and why?
Oh,
yeah, very intense.
I would say tights.
Yeah.
There's something about, I mean, of course you can wear tights year round, but there's something about, I think it's probably, I have an association of like dresses and tights with the holidays from childhood, I guess. Like you'd go to like church services and everything, and like always had like, winter tights on. And so that I have such a strong correlation between those two things. So I would say a dress and some lovely tights, holiday tights.
Love that. Someone just says, ask her about fantasy stuff. She loves Lord of the Rings. Is this true?
Oh, it's very true.
Really? Okay.
Yes, it is. I mean, you can kind of see my bookshelf there. I have The Hobbit.
Well, you have this beautiful color coordinated bookshelf that it's stunning.
Yeah.
It's so aesthetically pleasing to look at.
Thank you. It took me an entire day, but I love fantasy fiction. I love Lord of the Rings. That whole movie trilogy, and then the books and the Hobbit, the whole world that J.R.R. Tolkien created. I am just so obsessed with. It was I got so into it when I was a teenager, and it really became a part of my identity.
Very cool. So your character Jane at the end of this, co-writes a book. Was that influenced by real life affiliations, affinities?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. Jane, we wrote Jane. I early in the writing process, when we were brainstorming the family, we knew we wanted one of the sisters to like have a different energy than everybody else. And once we decided that, I told Clea that I wanted to play her. and so I feel like early on we started like infusing these details into Jane that are true of me too. Like I also have night terrors, and I love fantasy fiction. And so it was really fun to get to write that for Jane, that she is a really gifted author.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, in the world of fantasy fiction, what's Jedi Temple Challenge?
Jedi Temple Challenge is a kids competition game show that takes place in the Star Wars universe.
Amazing.
And yes, and I played the droid sidekick to Ahmed Best, who is the host of the show. And it features young Padawans trying to become Jedi Knights.
That's so sweet.
It's really sweet.
Yeah. How was that experience? It sounds like a sugar to the core.
Sugar to the core is a great way to describe it. And yeah, I had so much fun. And playing a droid is a dream. It's a dream. So yeah.
I love that.
So much fun.
Love it. Love it. Okay. Someone is asking, fuck, marry, kill. Your character from Veep, your character from Happiest Season, and Barack Obama.
Oh my God.
A very specific question.
I mean, listen, I would have to kill my character from Veep. She's a terrible person. The world would be well rid of her. So I would kill my character from Veep. I would.
It's tough.
It feels weird to say because I played my character on Happiest Season, so it feels strange to say I'd fuck her.
Right. Yeah. How
Because
about
that's me.
how about instead of fuck, it's redo a home with.
Okay. Well, great. Well, I would marry Barack Obama.
Great choice.
Yes. I mean, of course. And I would be thrilled to redo a home with Jane. She's so creative and has so many ideas. She's such a great artist.
I know. She is
She's
artistic.
such a great artist.
I love it. There's a ton of questions about Riley and Abby and whether or not they should have ended up together. I'm curious if the end of the film was easy to write or something that you guys went back and forth on.
It was always important to us that Abby and Harper have a happy ending with each other. You know, I think we really wanted to tell this story in a way that was very honest and authentic and feels real.
Mm-hmm.
And then also, you know, give these characters a bright, happy ending. So that was always the intention. And but I so appreciate the debate that's happening. Like it means a lot that people are really invested in these characters.
It's truly great because it keeps you hanging on till the very end because you truly don't know where this is going to go, and it could go anywhere, and that's what's so fun about it.
Oh, thank you. Yeah,
of course. Now let's see. Someone asked, "How is your back after carrying Happiest Season?" It's very sweet. Everyone is saying hashtag Jane writes that everyone fell in love with Jane. And then how does she feel playing a literal icon? She's become an icon to me and my friends. I mean,
oh my gosh.
Yeah, I think it's incredibly sweet. Like, that's a testament to how well written all of these characters are, that they truly connect with real people in the real world.
Yeah. I that really means so much to me. I mean, it is. I know I really relate to Jane, and it's just been so moving to hear that so many people do, and I'm just very grateful for that.
Oh, that's so sweet. And last question, which I think you might have mentioned in the beginning, will Wild Horses be doing any shows soon?
Yes. We're hoping to start doing shows monthly at Dynasty Typewriter online until we can all be together in person again.
Amazing.
Yeah. So I think we're going to start doing that in January. So we'll be posting about that. Yeah.
Oh, sweet. Mary, this has been so fun. Thank you for chatting with us.
Thank you, Grace.
Before we wrap up completely, we love to give a token of our appreciation to our guests. And that is a personalized fortune cookie from us to you that I believe Melissa might have emailed to you.
Okay. I see a fortune cookie, and here's a fortune. And do I read it out loud?
Yes, please.
Okay. Be gay and merry and check out Happiest Season on Hulu for your holiday season, but also honestly all year round viewing pleasure. If you don't have a login, we may know a girl.
There you go.
You go. Great fortune.
The fates are in your favor. Now, Mary, where can everyone find you? Where can they find all the projects you're working on, or get tickets to the upcoming shows, etc.?
Yes. If you follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Mary Holland Days, I post.
I love that Instagram handle, by the way. Fantastic. Yeah. I'm like keeping myself from accidentally saying Mary Holland Days every time I say your name. I'm like,
you're welcome to. I love it. I post all info about shows and everything else that's going on there. So you can find all that there.
Awesome. And very excited for Golden Arms sometime next year. Can't wait.
Yes. Thank you.
Cool. Guys, go check out everything that Mary is up to. Go see Happiest Season. It will leave you feeling very happy, very sweet. And we'll see you guys next time on another episode of Not Too Deep. Goodbye.
Bye, everybody.
Too deep. Not too deep with Grace Helbig.
Not Too Deep is a production of Grace Helbig Incorporated, producer Melissa D. Montz, edited by Shireen Lani Yunus, post-production sound by Chris Henry, and an extra special thanks to Flula for the theme music.